Hi friends! So Maui was popularized in pop culture by Disney's Moana. But who was Maui really? And what did the Polynesian peoples believe of him? Let's find out. The hero Maui was the youngest of 5 Maui brothers and was known as Maui Putiki. He was also known as Maui Tikitiki a Taranga, meaning Maui of the top knot of Taranga. But more on that later. In addition to these, he had several descriptive titles, such as Maui Nukarau, Maui Toa, and Maui Mohio, these being employed occasionally in order to emphasize the qualities of deceitfulness, courage, and wisdom said to have been possessed by him. Maui is generally described as one of a series of brothers, the number varying from 3 in Rarotonga to 6 in some of the New Zealand versions, although in Mangaya he is spoken of as having no brother. He is usually the youngest child, and in New Zealand especially, the older Mauis are described as stupid or forgetful, while Maui the hero is clever or mischievous. In Tahiti, the father of the Maui brothers was Hihira, or Sunray, and Uahea was their mother. But elsewhere it was said that their father was Tangarua, the god of the sea and fertility. Tangarua is also given as their father by some of the Maori tribes, while according to others, Maui is said to have been a son of Irawaki, or Makiatutara, and that his mother was Taranga or Mauhika, a Maori fire deity, although Mauhika is Maui's grandmother in most cases. Maui is also often associated with Hina, the goddess of the moon. On the island of Maui, she is said to be the demigod's mother, often in need of helping or defending. In New Zealand mythology, Hina is usually considered to be Maui's elder sister, while other versions have her as his wife. One legend of Hina speaks of her as Maui's elder sister, who instructs him to braid a rope from strands of her hair, creating a magical rope to be used to capture the sun. There are 3 regions for the legends and myths of Maui that stretch across the vast Pacific Ocean within the Polynesian Triangle. They are Hawaii in the north, New Zealand in the south, the central regions of the Tahitian group of islands, the islands of Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, the Society Islands group, and the Harvey Islands round out the immense area in which the same or similar legends about Maui exist. Told in mostly the same way with little variation in names, these stories show how the Polynesians settled over 70 million square miles of Pacific Ocean. Ancient Polynesian voyages often carried legends which became somewhat unique to the land they arrived in, but the themes and outcomes remain the same, with the stories of Maui and Hina, the powerful female deity, numbering to around 20. The legends and myths surrounding the demigod Maui form one of the strongest links of evidence connecting the scattered inhabitants of the Pacific into one nation. Maui is a shared deity throughout Polynesia. Though the stories have some differences, they are surprisingly similar, enough so that most scholars believe he is the same character performing similar feats, all on islands thousands of miles apart from each other. His mischievous deeds were often to the benefit of humankind. From creating fire to raising the sky to snaring the sun, Maui was a hero whose legacy spanned well over 1,000 years, while these stories traveled over 4,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean. Several stories speak of Maui's supernatural powers. It is said he belongs to a family of enchanted beings with superhuman abilities. In New Zealand, he possessed a magical jawbone of his ancestors, while in Hawaii he had a powerful fishhook. Nevertheless, Maui was very human. He lived in thatched houses, cared for his mother, and tricked his brothers and sometimes sister into all sorts of adventures. There are several stories about Maui, the most popular being his birth and travels to the Underworld, lifting the sky, restraining the sun, walling up islands, discovering fire, and his death. Maui was born prematurely. Thinking him dead, Maui's mother wrapped him in the hair of her topknot and threw him into the sea, who carried him to land. Here he was found by an old man who raised Maui and taught him all he knew of magic. When he was old enough, Maui left to find his family, and after revealing that he was the baby that Tauranga had thrown in the ocean, she was convinced that he was her last born, and called him Maui Tiki Tiki a Tauranga, meaning Maui of the top knot of Tauranga. Maui noticed that his mother only spent nights with him and his brothers, disappearing during the day. Following her down a hole one day in the form of a pigeon, Maui discovered that she spent her days with his father in the Underworld, after which he revealed himself to them. According to legend, Maui lived in a time when the sky pressed down close to the earth, flattening the leaves of even the tallest trees. Maui embarked on a search for a kahuna, a priest, to guide him, and was given a magical tattoo and water from a special gourd for strength. With his supernatural strength, Maui was able to lift the sky onto his shoulders and run to the highest peak. At the top of Haleakala, the House of the Sun in Hawaiian, the demigod threw the sky up into the air where it sits today. When storm clouds gather over Haleakala, it is said that they are afraid to stay in case Maui chooses to hurl them so far that they can never return. In another version, Maui sought the help of his father to raise the sky. Maui laid on the ground and began pushing up the sky with his great power. He signaled his father to start pushing also, and together father and son pushed the sky up high enough for the people, plants and trees to be able to grow tall and strong. With so much to do, and not enough hours in the day, Maui's mother wasn't able to dry her kapa cloth as the sun zoomed across the sky. To combat this, Maui wove a long lasso out of coconut fibers, or from his sister's hair, depending on the version of the myth, and made his way to the highest point on the island, Haleakala. Everyone laughed at his crazy idea, but Maui set his trap in the darkness and waited. As soon as he saw the sun, he snared one of the rays, thought to be the sun's arms, and a raging battle ensued, filled with threats and pleading. Finally, the sun could take no more and promised Maui he would slow down and give the people and gods more hours of sunlight. Variations of this story include Maui being helped by his grandmother and his brothers. Maui's older brothers loved to go fishing and always caught enough to feed the entire village. Maui was always left behind, infamously bringing bad luck and only catching the tiniest of fish. Legend has it that one day, Maui couldn't take it anymore. The demigod pleaded with his brothers, who finally took him along. This time, Maui brought his magic fish hook, equipped with a very special kind of bait, a feather from Hina's sacred birds. After paddling the fishing canoe far out to sea, Maui and his brothers cast their lines and waited. Soon enough, Maui hooked something so big that he had to tell his brothers to keep paddling the canoe and not to look back lest he lose his catch. The intense struggle made one of his brothers curious, and when he turned around to see, the line snapped, but Maui had already pulled up 8 islands from the ocean floor. Maui grew tired of eating raw fish and vegetables. He desired cooked food and the ability of his mother to cook with and warm herself with an open fire. He noticed one day a plume of smoke off in the distance and set out to discover more. After repeated attempts, Maui snuck up to the smoky pit to catch the culprit, an alai, the Hawaiian moorhen, who was busy stamping out and attempting to hide a small fire. He grabbed the bird by its long neck and demanded to know how they created the fire. In an effort to keep the fire-making ability a secret, the alai told Maui to rub 2 pieces of banana tree together. When this didn't work, Maui squeezed the bird's throat until he unwillingly spilled the secret, used 2 pieces of dried kiawe. As his own personalized punishment, Maui created a large fire as instructed, but left a mark on the alai's forehead, which explains why these birds have brightly colored red bills, and its chicks are born with a bald red head, which looks like it was scalded. There are several stories of the demise of Maui in Hawaii, from being struck down by a priest to having a mountain collapse onto him while digging a tunnel. Maui's mischievous nature always became his undoing. The one most widely known story of his death is from New Zealand. After overcoming so many obstacles and successfully defeating many foes, Maui longed for victory over death. He believed immortality should be a gift bestowed upon humankind. Yet his father warned him that his time of failure and death would surely come. Maui asked his father, "By what shall I be overcome?" And his father replied, "There is one so powerful that no tricks can be of any avail." Maui's father told him that his ancestor, Hinenui Tepu, meaning the great Hine of the night, the guardian of life, would see to his demise. The goddess had flashing green eyes, volcanic glass for teeth, a large fish-like mouth, and hair that floated in the air like seaweed. His father admitted to a mistake he had made when chanting the invocation of Maui's childhood, when he was made sacred and guarded by charms, but his father had forgotten a part of the ceremony, and because of this he would surely die one day. Hinenui Tepu guarded the place of life, and Maui persuaded his brothers to go with him to keep watch. Maui planned to enter into the goddess's stomach, cut out her heart, and exit through her mouth, thus killing the goddess and bringing the heart of immortality to mankind. While Hinenui Tepu was sleeping, he entered her and retrieved the heart, but as he emerged through her mouth, one of his brothers laughed aloud, waking the goddess, who snapped her obsidian teeth closed, cutting Maui in half. Maui thus entered the gates of death, but was unable to return, and death has ever since been victorious. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please help me by sharing the video and subscribing to the channel. Till next time, bye bye.